A very warm welcome from the Test and Development Center here from Pulheim. Welcome to the live stream of Steinert. We know each other already from 9 months ago when we had the official opening of this building, and last year everything was about metal recycling. Last year we stood downstairs, and yesterday I came here for the rehearsal, and I was so excited and impressed because since the last 9 months, so many things have developed, and right now I'm standing in the middle of the new waistline. And I know that some of you are so excited, like me today, and they ask already prior, when is the release of the new machine? And I can promise you, you and me, we all will witness the release of the new waistline. And today we want to show you solutions for sorting commercial waste and post-consumer packaging. So welcome again to the live stream of Steinert. My name is Janine Mehne. I'm your host, and I will guide you through the next 75 minutes. I won't do that alone. You already know my colleague, Mr. Loop from the Netherlands, and he will entertain us with music. He is a one-man show. And I'd also like to introduce to you my colleagues from Steinert. They are already here. Welcome, Andreas Jäger and Hendrik Behl.
Hello.
So Andreas started as an industrial mechanic and worked in topics as compost, waste wood and CD. And in 2017 he joined Steinert as Global Sales Director for Waste Recycling Market. Welcome.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you to the audience. So we are very excited to be here and to explain in more detail what we have developed here.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm looking forward. And we have Hendrik Behl. He studied engineering in waste treatment and worked in topics as lightweight packaging and RDF. In 2010, he joined Steinert as regional manager for Australia and Asia. And in 2012, Hendrik was announced as managing director of RTT Steinert, which is the Steinert Unisort GmbH. Welcome.
Thank you, Janine, for this nice introduction.
So this is an interactive live stream. So on the one hand side, we want you to ask your questions in the chat, and then they will, I will receive them here on my tablet. And on the other hand side, we want to ask you some questions. And therefore, we use a tool. It's called Mentimeter. So if you want to, you can join. You can use a second device like a tablet or a smartphone, and then you can take a picture, because then right now, I guess you will see our QR code. And then you will see a question. And the first question is, which we want to know, from which country do you watch our live stream? Because I think this is very interesting. I guess we have about 700 viewers, which is amazing. And this brings me to the first question, Hendrik. There are so many countries, and each and every country, they have their different regulations about waste disposal. And you, for example, you are an expert for Australia and Asia. So how can you make sure to be up to date for each and every region?
Yeah, we have people in these regions that spot the market, and they also have an eye on the changing of legislations in these regions. And so that makes us, brings us in the position to react. If something is going on, we can do it with our sales team, and then we can work on this.
Okay, so it's absolutely teamwork, I guess. So let's have a look from which country you watched the live stream, because I think this is pretty interesting. So, okay, I think this was pretty clear that most of the people watch from Germany, but I mean, Malaysia is also pretty big, amazing. Belgium, Norway, then a lot of numbers. I don't know this postal code. Australia, we talked about Australia. Welcome to the Aussies. Saudi Arabia, welcome. Poland, Hungary, Denmark, Spain, Buenos Dias, Italy, we have France, Bienvenue, and Romania, and Northern Ireland, and South Africa. Wonderful. Wow. Okay, amazing. So, and UK is also there. So I guess, everything. Wow. Okay, this is really, really impressive. Thank you so much. I'm pretty curious about the new waistline, and the topic for now is commercial waste. So right now, I introduced the two of you, but I'd like to know, Andreas, for example, how did you come to this industry?
Yeah, I actually started my work life in that industry, and I always liked the technology that is involved in that industry and what is possible with different mechanical solutions. And during these 25 years, it was always interesting to see how this market has been developed in terms of the circular economy and also in terms of the legislation that has a big influence for our customers.
I guess these are also topics where we talk slightly about today, especially the history. And Hendrik, what about you? What is your starting point in this branch?
For me, it was very much similar. I stepped into this very exciting bubble of the recycling business during my studies in Aachen. And if you won't get caught by this, you cannot get out of it. There is a saying in the market, what you hear from time to time, that you never get lost in this branch. And that is 100% true.
Okay. Yeah, amazing. So I'd like to remind you again, you can ask your questions, especially later when we watch our films, and then later on we have our Q&A session. But you can ask your questions the whole time, and I will receive them here on my tablet. So let's talk about the topic commercial waste. Andreas, why are we standing in the middle of the new waste sorting line and talking about different references today?
Yeah. So the demand for complex sorting is growing continuously. So we realize that, and therefore we have upgraded our test lines to be able to show tests and to provide tests in a more realistic way. And the circular economy, of course, has a big impact, and the circular economy is striving to keep more and more recyclable materials in circulation. And in many industries, the resources are getting more limited, and therefore we have developed our resource search engines, how we call it, to get a lot of these products back into the process.
Yesterday in the rehearsal, Hendrik said, yeah, Steinert, we are not the only ones who does waste disposal. So what is so special about this sorting line here?
Yeah, we have constructed this sorting line here for our customers, for our partners, to be able to show tests in a more realistic way. So what does it mean? So the customer supplies us with material, we do the analysis, and then we check what is possible based on the process. And that's what we are doing here.
And what does that mean for sales?
Yeah, for sales it has a very huge impact. So we can show and discuss together with our customers what is possible, what are the sorting aims. So that's something we discussed in advance. And that means in practice, he supplies us with the material, we check the material, we make the analysis, then we do the pre-adjustments on our machines, and then we go in detail, we go through the process, we do the test, and then we can figure out what is possible with his material, and then we can find a solution for him, and that provides him certainty for his decision, and also, and that's a very important point, for his investment.
Okay, yeah, good point. The survey revealed that we have viewers from all over the world. And again, there are so many different regulations. So what can you tell the viewers about this topic?
Yeah, I mean, the sorting and recycling is getting more and more advanced in many European countries, but also outside of Europe. And the major goal is there to get a high purity of finished products, to get that back into the process, into the circulation. And we see that market, and therefore we have adjusted our technology here. And so that provides us more possibilities in the future.
Thank you so much. Hendrik, Steinert Unisort is part of the Steinert GmbH. What does Steinert Unisort make so special?
Steinert Unisort has been part of the Steinert Group since 2009, and it's still located in Zittau. There we have the R&D department, we have the design department in manufacturing, and also we have the service for all Unisort products, which are mainly sensor-based sorters with near-infrared detection.
So you gave us a little glimpse, and for which applications does Steinert Unisort build the machines for?
Nearly for all applications where near-infrared in combination with artificial intelligence or without can be a solution. That is a wide range for sure of the applications, such as municipal waste, packaging waste, construction waste, and also commercial waste and green waste.
So all the topics sounds very interesting. Yeah. What is your latest project you're working on?
With the introduction of the Unisort Evo 5, we set the basis to have an picture design algorithm integrated in the standard system. So that means that we have the possibility, if we have a standard machine and we equip it with artificial intelligence module, we have the possibility that this machine can detect single objects that are already registered in a database, and that database is growing. So the machine can do this even if the machine never have seen it. And that gives us a lot of opportunities for the future. Later on in this show, we will come on to this point, and also we discuss this in more details.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. So, as you said, we will see you later. So, thank you, Hendrik, for so far. And before we watch the film, we want to ask you a question. And the question you will find in Mentimeter again. So, the question is, on which recycling application do you focus on? Is it MSW or is it commercial waste? Maybe it is C&D waste or post-consumer packaging. This is the topic where we want to talk with Hendrik later. And then you could also type in bio-waste. So this is very interesting because then we can see, okay, where are you interested, or where do you work, or where do you have your focus? And then later on, we will watch our film about the commercial waste. And as we can see here, we have the first results by now. So it is changing. Okay, I mean, we can see that a lot of viewers are interested in post-consumer packaging. So this is the topic for a little bit later in our show. So Andreas, what do you say? Did you thought that the result would look like that, especially bio-waste?
Yeah, we expected something like that. So bio-waste is also a growing business where we can use our technology. But also, I mean, we see here, and that post-consumer packaging has a big impact in the entire industry. And we also see that MSW is still a topic. So, but yeah, it actually matches what we have expected.
Yeah, and as you can see right now, the bio-waste is racing and racing. So this is a little bit the market like it is right now. So interesting mixture. And I guess, I mean, even if you work with the machines of Steinert or not, we want to watch a film right now about commercial waste. And Steinert can achieve very high goals. So we want to watch the film. And you can ask all your questions. As I said, I will receive them here on my tablet. It would be lovely if you could just type in your name briefly, because I'm not sure if we can answer all your questions here in the live stream, and then later on the team of Steinert could send you an email, because of course we want to answer all your questions. So that's all the information for now, and I would say right now we can watch the clip about commercial waste.
With a total processing capacity of 300,000 tons each year, including over 100,000 tons of commercial waste, our customer Hufnagel Service GmbH in Olpe, Germany is the center for innovative waste treatment. Near-infrared sorting machines from the Steinert Unisort series sort materials such as wood, paper, cardboard, cartons, various plastics, films, and minerals. Metals are separated using magnets and Steinert eddy current separators.
It was important for us to meet the requirements of the new German commercial waste ordinance, and most importantly, that we were able to hit the required reuse and recycling rates as best we can.
The trials for this project took place in the old Steinert Test Center, but we launched a new waste site sorting line in April 2021. From now on, we can perform trials on an industrial scale in the new test center in Cologne-Pulheim. The quantities involved and the preparation stages match those of a real material recovery facility. Testing can therefore be very realistic to simulate the relevant requirements, feasibility, and return on investment.
Die Firma Steinert
Steinert was on board right from when we started designing the plant, and the huge advantage of working with them was that we were able to run extensive trials in the Steinert Test Center with our own material.
Take wood as an example. More waste wood is being used in the industry, so separating impurities is particularly important. The Unisort PR Evo 5.0 near-infrared, short NIR sorting machine with hyperspectral imaging camera technology does this, and has a particularly high spectral and optical resolution. The NIR spectrum's wavelength range allows typical patterns for materials. This is based on molecular vibrations detected after excitation with light. This technology enables the Hufnagel company to separate wood from the waste flow, achieving a purity of up to 95%. Furthermore, the Unisort PR can also detect different types of wood and separate them. For example, the sorting machine can differentiate between chipboard and OSB or MDF, multiplex fresh coated or varnished wood.
Alongside ferrous and non-ferrous metals, we also sort wood, paper, cardboard, and plastic, both hard plastics and films, and we process these both in mixes and sorted by pure-grade fractions, such as PP, PE, or PVC.
Depending on the input material and market conditions, the Hufnagel company decides which products to recover from the waste flow. The Unisort PR can also be used if you want to separate polyolefin or other 3D plastics. A Unisort PR can also separate the fraction containing paper and cardboard, helping Hufnagel achieve a purity of up to 95%.
In our plant, we also use a Unisort Black, which allows us to also sort out dark objects and is particularly useful in eliminating impurities, such as rubber or dark plastics, when cleaning our minerals, and it delivers excellent results.
There are still rumors being spread that black objects cannot be detected or sorted, yet our Unisort Black is the solution to the problem, with technology specially designed for this particular challenge. For example, it cleans out black foreign matter like rubber, plastics, and leather from a mineral product, consisting of stone, ceramic, demolished concrete, and other materials that can be identified by near-infrared, such as wood, plastics, and plaster.
It is important to us that we can manufacture sorted products to a quality level that means they can be integrated into the circular economy well and on a sustained basis. And thanks to the Steinert units that we use, we feel very well equipped for the future.
Other Steinert customers who have very high paper, cardboard, and film content in their commercial waste also benefit from using our Unisort film. It has been designed for particularly lightweight materials and has its own dedicated sorting technology that is able to stabilize 2D objects that normally would try to be airborne. The Unisort film keeps them stable by using a continuous airflow above the conveyor belt that moves with the material and eliminates any air turbulence. What's more, updates are simple after commissioning and are performed entirely remotely. Of course, our classic products also play a role in Hufnagel's sorting plant. The Steinert EDC non-ferrous metal separator separates all non-ferrous materials like aluminum from other materials. The overhead suspension magnets, which are standard in every material recovery facility, separate out iron. All the sorting machines can be tested in our new test center, from tried and tested magnet technology to highly developed sensor sorting using the Unisort product brand. A 2 to 5 cubic meter material volume of the customer's own sorting material per trial enables customers to draw reliable conclusions about how their planned material recovery facility will operate. Equipped with preparation stages like a ballistic separator and an air separator as in real life, the new sorting line in the Steinert Test Center is very close to reality and exhibits the entire process steps in a loop. We are sure to reach your goals with different concepts. Simply arrange an appointment with your Steinert consultant so that we can work together to find the right solution for you.
This is so amazing what you can achieve with this machine. So we are back in studio and we prepared something. So Andreas, I'd like to talk about some topics which we could see in the video. So let's talk obviously about wood sorting. For which wood sorting tasks can you provide solutions?
Yeah, I mean, first for wood sorting, we have our classic systems like ferrous and non-ferrous separator. And on top of that, I mean, wood is an essential part of the commercial waste processing. And as we have seen in the film, we selected wood as a product. So we basically shoot it on that product to get it covered. And so we have here some samples. We talk about that a little bit later. So for wood sorting, we have a camera. It's called HSI camera, hyperspectral imaging camera, that provides a very high resolution. So in addition to just sorting wood from other materials, we can also differentiate different types of wood. So as mentioned, we have some samples here, and with the high resolution, we can differ, for example, between, we have here different type of woods that we do not want to have in the finished product. For example, we have MDF, we have USB, we have also melamine coated wood that we removed from the input material, and then we have the finished product that we are aiming for. That is the fresh wood that we want to use for the further production. And as we have seen recently in the news, this commodity, the price of this commodity is growing and growing. And that has a big advantage for our customer. For example, chipboard producers, they can use this material for their process, and they can, for example, produce new chipboards or other chip material.
Yeah, it's so necessary. So we want to save resources, right?
Yeah.
What if we want to separate paper? How can your system help?
So for sorting paper, we have our Unisort film. The name stands for film sorting. It's a very light material. That's the reason why we designed this special system for. But paper is also very light, and therefore we use this system as well in paper sorting. So as seen in the film, there is an airstream going around the machine that stabilizes the paper product, that we do not have any turbulences on the conveyor, on the acceleration belt, and therefore we have a very efficient sorting that is important in this process. And this machine is not necessary in all commercial waste application, but if the amount of paper is very high, it's definitely worthwhile to use such a technology.
Okay. What happens if we have black objects? Can they be identified? Can they be removed or not?
Sorting black is a very important point in many applications. So black objects are actually not visible in the near infrared spectrum. So with our Unisort Black, we are able to see that material because of the configuration of this specific machine, and we can identify black objects and we can sort them out. And in addition, we have some other advantages that we use in the commercial waste application. For example, if the acceleration belt is covered with sticky material or the material is a little bit moisture, that has also a big advantage using a black technology in that application.
Yeah. And you mentioned it a bit, so we heard a lot about individual commercial waste, so the mixed construction waste, which is also needed to be sorted. So what can we do now?
Yeah, I mean, mixed construction waste contains usually a higher amount of minerals. So as we have heard already on the Evo 0.5 Unisort, we have done a lot of development, improvements, and one of the improvement is our wave bar. So with this new design, with the new wave bar, we can efficiently sort this material. And that is very important in that application.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Janine.
So right now it is your time. You can ask your questions regarding the film and of course also to Andreas, who is our expert. But by now we want to listen to some music by Mr. Loop. So I want to hand over to the Netherlands and I say goedendag.
Goedendag, Janine. And hello, Steinert. Thank you for having me this morning.
Yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, all the way from Eindhoven. I have a little back ache from all these amps I put here behind me. But because we're all these heavy machinery and all these cool devices and technology, I thought we should play some rock music.
Okay, then let's do that.
All right. I heard you cry loud all the way across town. You've been searching for that someone, and it's me out of the crowd. Instead of sit around feeling sorry for yourself, well, don't get lonely now and dry your whining eyes. I'm just roaming for the moment, seizing my backyard around. Yeah, so uptight you've been thinking about ditching me. No time, this is the world go round. 'Cause you know where I'll be found when I come around. Well, I heard it all before, so don't knock to my door. I'm a loser and a user, so I don't need an accuser to try and slack me down, because I know you're right. So go do what you like, make sure you do it wise. You may find out that yourself that means nothing is ever there. You can't go forcing something if it's just not right. No time, this is the world go round. 'Cause you know where I'll be found when I come around. No time, this is the world go round. 'Cause you know where I'll be found when I come around. When I come around. When I come around.
Back in this studio, and Andreas, I could see you whipped with your knees and with your legs, so it is like being on a concert, right?
Yeah, it was fabulous. I mean, nice music, nice entertainment, it was perfect.
Yeah. And in the morning, 9:30, we have really good music here. So we have also a lot of questions in here. Yeah, thank you for that. And you can still write your questions. So let's start. Unisort Black works in the separation of black packaging. It's like a phrase, not, yeah, I don't know what the question is about.
Yeah, I mean, we can, of course, I mean, to use the Unisort Black in packaging is a very important topic, because there are a lot of black packages in that material. And if a customer uses that technology, it creates an additional product that he can get to the off-takers. So that's very important. And in some of our packaging waste applications, we have this technology implemented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Next question. Is Steinert able to create a recycling material from demolition waste?
That's a really good question, actually. So with that application, we wouldn't use the NIR technology, so our Unisort. We would do that with a different technology that we have in our portfolio. We call it KSS. It's a combined sensor sorting machine. And one unit or one sensor that we have in this machine is, for example, a color sensor. And with that, we can differentiate between red bricks and concrete. So, and this is, we see a demand in the future in this application, because also these resources are getting limited and the customers are seeing an advantage to get some of this material back into the production.
Of course, yeah. Next question. What kind of solution would you recommend for a retail company that would like to sort 3,000 tons of films?
Yeah, I mean, we have mentioned our Unisort film already. So, and if a customer is seeking for that application, we would ask him to send us some samples. So, and then we will use the technology here to see what is the composition, what is the mix of the material. And then we would discuss a process with him to see what can be sorted and what purity and recovery we can get out of his feedstock.
You said, yeah, we would ask the client if they can send us some samples. And actually, this is kind of the next question. How is a trial in your test center being held?
Yeah, first of all, we would discuss, of course, the application with the customer. And then we would talk about the process. Then he would supply us with the material. And then we would do some adjustments here. We would go through the process. We would do the trial. And then afterwards, we would discuss in more detail what is necessary for his process.
Okay. Can you separate MDF?
Sorry, MDF?
MDF, yeah. Can you
Yeah,
separate
as we have seen already in the movie, we can sort wood. MDF is a part of that. And we can especially detect MDF, and we can remove it from the rest of the product. So, yeah, the question is, we can.
Okay.
The answer.
yeah, the answer. Can you separate paper from wood using NIR?
Sorry, again?
Can you separate paper from wood using NIR?
Yeah, that's a typical sorting test. I mean, it depends what kind of Unisort we would use for that. As we have seen in the film, we said, okay, it makes sense to use the Unisort film, but we can also separate with this machine wood from paper. Yeah, it's possible.
We have so many questions. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Is it possible to separate wood in a MSW flow or only in commercial construction waste?
Yeah, I mean, that depends. I mean, if it's MSW, this material is actually a little bit more wet. There is more moisture in that material. So we have to get some samples. We have to see how high or the amount of wood that needs to be separated. But to do this, it's actually possible. It's also possible with MSW or in other applications. That's a typical sorting task, yeah.
Next question. What machines are available in your test center?
Oh, we have a big variety of units. As we see here, we talked already about our Unisort technology, and we have also the wind sifter, we have the ballistic separator, we have our classic system, as mentioned already, our magnets, eddy currents. So we have a bunker, a feeder, so we can demonstrate a complete process actually in real.
I guess this is like also the next question, which fits perfectly. Can the Unisort units be added to existing sorting lines?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have to figure out at what point or in where we have to add this unit. Of course, they have to make some changes in the entire process. We have to check the steel work, but we haven't done that already in the past. So it's actually necessary, but it depends very much on the application.
Can you sort LDPE?
Yeah, that's another good question. I mean, LDPE it's a very valuable product, and in the last months and last year, we have seen a bigger demand, especially for sorting this kind of material, and even in packaging waste, that's a standard sorting task. So yeah, we can sort this, and it's something we do day by day in these sorting facilities.
The next question is also pretty interesting. Can you separate treated timber from untreated timber?
I mean, that's a good question, but therefore we have to discuss with the customer what means be treated. Is it shredded? Is it screened? What type of material does he want to process? And therefore we have to make a first analysis, maybe a first little try to see what needs to be done. And of course, in the very beginning, it helps to get some pictures from the customer to see, okay, this is the material that needs to be processed, and then we can discuss first on the phone what needs to be done, or we can set up an appointment on site. We have to look at the material, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, of course. So you could write also in the chat your details, your contact details, and also at the end we will show you the contact finder. So maybe this would be this was a really good advice. Thank you. Again, we have a lot of questions. Do you sort organics?
Yes, we do. I mean, especially in the organic application like compost or biowaste, and we have seen there are some customers who are in that business. So the contaminants like plastic and in compost or flower pots, that needs to be removed, because the aim is to get more and more cleaner compost products. And we have some references there. We have some machines in operation. And especially with our Unisort Black, we are able to remove all these contaminants, because there are always black flower pots in compost. And yeah, it's something we can do.
Okay. I'm interested and I'm curious if you can tell us a bit about the sensor. What kind of sensor is applied in black packaging sorting?
Yeah, the sensor is basically in our detection bridge, how we call it, is basically the same. We use, as mentioned, a HSI camera, high resolution camera, and with the Unisort Black, the same sensor, but the setup of this machine is a little bit different. So there is a different software involved, and there is the position of the entire bridge is different, but the bridge itself and the components, and that's the good part of it, it's always the same.
Yeah. Next good question. Are you able to separate bags of bio-waste from bags of municipal waste?
Yeah, I mean, we have the same question. We have to go a little bit more into detail. What bags are there and what material needs to be recovered. That's at the end the most important topic. And then first we have to identify the two different composition. We have to get some samples, and then we have to see what is possible.
I guess the next question is also the question about what is possible. How small particles can a Unisort Black sort?
Yeah, so I've mentioned already that we have a new design of the wave bar, and with that new design, we have different nozzle grids. It starts from 12.5 millimeter, it goes up to 30 millimeter, and in between we are very flexible. So the nozzle grid actually gives the size of the material that we can sort, and with our flake sorter, we can even sort smaller material on flake size.
Thank you. We talked already about the trials. A question there is, what is the minimum amount required for a material test run?
So for a first analysis, it often helps to get just a little bucket to see, okay, what is the material composition? We can put it on the machine, and according to the sorting test, we can adjust our machine. Then we can have another discussion with the customer if it satisfies him. And then we can go from there, and we have to see, okay, if we need more material, we have to make a bigger test. But in the beginning, it often helps just to have some buckets.
Okay. Wow, thank you so much, Andreas. You answered all the questions. Honestly, I have to say there were even more questions in the chat. So I guess Steinert Marketing will contact you and answer all your questions via mail. Thank you so much. We will see us again at the end.
Okay.
That's for you by now. Thank you so much. So you can
later.
Have a deep breath. There, see you. Thank you so much. And right now we want to talk about the next topic, which will be post-consumer packaging. And as I already promised you, we will see Hendrik again. So here he is. So we had a quick change here. Welcome back.
Thank you. So I have to start with just a few
I see
things
you.
from
You have
theirs.
to arrange all your material. That's absolutely fine. So now, welcome again, Hendrik.
Thank you.
How did you like the live stream so far?
For me, it was very interesting to see it, how everything is going on here. It's very impressive, this setup here. And I believe that also the audience outside would register this, and it's very interesting.
Pretty good questions, right?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
So few people have a little bit experience with this.
Yeah, and actually I'm very curious about your questions, because we had in this survey, we could see so many people are interested and work with post-consumer packaging. So right now, this is your time. So maybe you can talk and tell us a little bit about what are you working on at Steinert Unisort? So
Steinert Unisort, we have a very deep in-house development level. So that means we have a very, very good experience with near-infrared spectroscopy and also image processing. And with this, we support the sales team here globally or here in Cologne with individual customer solutions. And also we provide them with developing larger concepts about sorting plans.
Mm-hmm. What's the importance of this test center here in Pulheim for Unisort?
Yeah. First of all, we have two different sites. We have the R&D in Zittau, and we have the sales mainly here in Cologne. So Pulheim is now something in between, and that gives us the possibility to gather all the knowledge which we have over the years collected in the group. We can bring it here inside this new test building, and we can bring it right on the table together with our customers. So that gives us the possibility to source everything we have and to develop together with them here inside the lab new ideas, new trials, new applications, whatever. And then we can go out and we go to these machines and we can put them really quick into real life.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm curious, how do you develop new sorting lines and sorting solutions?
So mainly the most applications we now have their origin in customer requirements. So the main portfolio which we have today comes from this. So customer has a material where he believes there is some potential value in it, and he comes to us and we check it, we look into it, and then we try which possibility on the technical side we have to separate this particular material from the other materials around there. And that's a normal process. And if we have done this and it works stable, then we have a new application and we have a new topic.
Yeah, maybe you can give us a bit more deeper insight about the development process, a bit more in the details.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the very first thing is to understand what is the application the customer wants to reach. And if we have an understanding about this, then we can go together with the development department and the technology which we have nowadays available and look into it. And if we have a final technical solution for it, we are able to do the trials here. We are able to try it here. And also this will help us to have a little bit of fine-tuning in the process or in this individual application. And if at the end the demand the customer had was met during this, we can save the settings from the machines. And if it comes to a sale, we can put the setting on the machine, and so the machine will be delivered with the original settings which were fixed here in these trials. If the machine is already one that the customer has, we also can then copy the settings from the test here onto the machine on the customer side, and therefore mainly it's just only we can do it during shift changes or during maintenance shifts. So, and it's nowadays with all the opportunities we have with Evo 5, not even necessary that a service team comes out and do this new configuration on the machine. We can do it remotely.
Wow. So did I understand that right? You can give an 101 model here in the test center.
Exactly. And in fact, we have to do this because if we do it, if we do trials, and if we do a report about this trial, we also talk about capacities, we talk about recovery rates, we talk about purity rates. So if a customer later on decides that that application is something he wants to do an investment, he also has to rely on it. And that's for us also something we have to rely on. So that is very important that we now have this lab here, and we have a pre-sorting possibility with a screen, we have the air separator, and we have a ballistic. So and the machines itself, the machines are standard machines. These machines are the same on the customer side. That's not a lab machine with smaller performances, whatever. That's a standard machine. And that makes the process itself reliable and gives us and the customer the guarantee that we can be on the safe side if we put this facility later on in operation, what we tried here in the lab.
Mm-hmm. As we could see in the survey, I guess it was about 40% which work already in the post-consumer packaging. And you are in the branch for more than 20 years. So why is post-consumer packaging such a big issue today?
It becomes more or less with the regulations. So that we have a lot of countries in Europe that already have or that will tighten up their legislation. So they will have the recovery rates which are needed from the packaging waste, and also at the same time the demand on the high quality of a product is higher. So these two things are normally something in the recycling industry which is very difficult to combine. So we have high recovery, which we can reach with a more complex process. We have more recovery stations. We create loops in the systems, in the facilities. And also we have different steps of cleaning. And also this causes at the end a very, very huge facility. And that is one of the biggest things. So we have to develop technology that helps the operator to get an overview about what is going on in these large facilities. And this development, Steinert has seen really early, and that was the initial starting point for developing the Evo 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, Evo 5, you mentioned the suffix Evo of the sorting machine. What does Evo mean?
Yeah, Evo, it's this generation when we face the situation that we see there are bigger projects and we are part of it, so we have to prepare ourselves to manage it. And there have been a few things, mainly on the mechanical side. So we have easy maintenance situations, which has changed. And also Andreas mentioned it in his part, that we have a new valve bar that makes higher lifetime of the valves itself. But also the new valve bar gives us a possibility to reduce the consumption of the compressed air, which is also a valid thing, because not only the small facilities, in small facilities, creating the compressed air and operating these compressors is an enormous cost part. So that was part of the Evo 5, make the machine more robust, more easy to maintenance. And if it comes to the operation guys from these facilities, they may like the automatic white calibration, what was also part of the Evo 5. That means all machines can do a calibration, which is frequently needed on themselves. You do not have to walk through the facility and do it individually. That is a big time. It gives you a little bit more operation time. And also we have a lot of tools for self-diagnostic in the system. So that gives the operator the possibility to schedule a little bit the maintenance jobs he has to do. So he will have less unexpected shutdowns, and the availability of these machines can be higher than 97%.
Wow. Very, very impressive. All the data, the numbers, and all the information. And in a few moments, we want to watch a film, but to have a better understanding of the film, we want to talk about the film before, because we will see very large plans of two customers, actually Pre-Zero and Alba. So as I said yesterday, when I came here, I was so impressed about the size, but you said, oh yeah, the customers, it's much more, even much more. It's such a large post-consumer packaging. And what are the special features about these large plants?
Size is not an end in itself. So as I said, the plants are becoming bigger to meet the regulations. And it's very difficult for the operator to keep the overview on the complete process. So in the movie later on, you have the Alba site, for example, that is 6 football feet tall. And it's very different levels. So it's very huge. So the operator, it's difficult for them to see the sorting situation on each machine. And with the Evo 5, we have the same, all the systems are calibrated. That means that they all generate exactly the same range of information and the same quality of information. And that helps you, for example, to put all these data over each other, and then you can see smaller changes. That helps you to see different in-feed materials and gives the operator the possibility to act on it, even if he cannot see it because he's too far away. On the other hand, even if a performance from one machine is going down, he can see this already. So we have the technology to show all the changes which come up, and we have the possibility to pop them up to the operation personnel, and then they can decide what they want to do and how they want to act on it.
Yeah. I'm very fascinated. And next thing where we want to talk about is plastic films, because they tend to float on the belt. And again, there are special requirements which we need. And again, this is also an important issue when it comes to post-consumer packaging. So why?
That is true, yeah. As I said, yes, it also depends on the higher recycling rates that are necessary. So in former times, it was okay to generate positively a film fraction by using an air separator. So that's not possible anymore, because you have to go into the deep. You have to separate the PE from the PP and the paper out of it, and that also you can go into different colors in it. So there is a bunch of new possibilities which come up because you need to have a better quality and you have high recycling rates. So with the films, the issue is that they are very, very thin, so they do not like to accelerate as heavier particles, so they like to tumble on the belt, which makes them difficult to eject. On the other hand, you have very, very low area weights, so that means the throughput of this machine is low. And we from Steinert came over this in 2016 when we launched the Steinert Unisort film with active object control. And that actually is a system, Andreas also explained it before, that keeps the films on a stable position, and that makes it possible to have higher throughput rates with same sorting task like recovery rate and purity as standard machines, but on a higher level of throughput. Mm-hmm. And with the Evo 5, the Unisort film Evo 5 is the third generation of these machines now in the market using active object control. And if we now see the videos from these larger plants, both of them have in their 2D lines these technologies. They use Unisort film technology here.
Yeah, so I guess the tension is high right now. It's the same procedure like it was with Andreas. So we will see and we will watch the film, and you can ask your questions. Afterwards, I will ask some questions to Hendrik about the film. And again, then we have the Q&A session, and you can ask your questions, but you can ask your questions the whole time. I will receive them here on the tablet. So right now we are going to watch the film. Again, little reminder, these are two references, two projects who implemented that in real life.
Post-consumer packaging waste contains a variety of recyclable materials, starting with ferrous and non-ferrous metals through to high-grade films and hard plastic fractions. Yet this diversity is hugely challenging for recyclers. Black plastics, multi-layer packaging, and aluminum composites are particularly difficult to sort in a way that abides by the sometimes legal specifications, some of which are imposed by law. At Steinert, we provide our customers with a variety of solutions with our Unisort product brand, using modern technology and developments. One of the latest sorting plants for post-consumer packages in Europe was put into operation by PreZero in Ghent, Belgium at the start of the year. The plan is to sort over 80,000 tons of post-consumer packaging waste automatically every year, and this will be done in line with Belgium's standard, strict FOST+ requirements. One priority is sorting PET fractions into identical materials because there's no deposit system for single-use bottles like in Germany. Using the most modern AI-based sorting technology enables it to react to special product groups based on the customer's requirements. For example, ketchup packaging that has residue inside the bottle, which would be allocated to the colored PET fraction, can also be sent to the transparent fraction, even though the object is colored. Therefore, when deciding how to sort an object, Steinert Unisort machines analyze every object that they detect. This information can then be used to create new sorting programs using machine learning. This is done in our development department without affecting the customer's operations. First of all, experts evaluate the scans before artificial intelligence uses them to independently learn the differences between colored objects and objects with colored contents. Therefore, the machine picks up new knowledge every day to be able to solve more and more complex sorting tasks and to achieve purity that meets the challenges of today and tomorrow. The result is a digital and networked form of collaboration and development all Unisort users can benefit from, and that facilitates new dimensions for post-consumer packaging sorting plants. The largest post-consumer packaging sorting plant in Europe is in Marl, Germany. The Alba plant went into operation in 2018. Every year, Steinert sorting machines sort post-consumer packages from over 6 million people in a space that would fit 6 football fields. It's the first fully automated sorting plant of that size that doesn't have any manual sorting, which is why it required lots of new ideas. All Unisort machines from the Evo 5.0 generation are equipped with a central spectral database. This means that only one machine has to be manually adjusted to the circumstances on site, and the other machines synchronize automatically. This procedure makes them easier to service, optimizes staff management, and ensures that commissioning times are short and the machines have a maximum service life. This technology was also developed in close collaboration with a customer at Steinert's Test and Development Center. Here, specialists can test the processes and sorting programs in a trial environment on an industrial scale before they're used at the customer's site. Continuous development work means they are ideal for integration into the circular economy in the long term. Digital solutions for a digital age in which we learn with and from each other. These solutions help you to sort materials that you couldn't sort before in larger post-consumer package sorting plants. This will set you up perfectly for the challenges of today and tomorrow. Sorting ideas for a world where resources remain in circulation.
Back in the studio, and as always, I'm so impressed about the machines and everything is so quick. As you can see here, we prepared something for our talk. Actually, honestly, I have to say it doesn't look so delicious. But yeah, we want to talk about that. So Hendrik, how does the test center and the consumer plant work together?
So yeah, that is the idea behind it. So if we have, for example, a customer who has a new application, he wants to do something else, he has a machine from us already with artificial intelligence equipped, then he can send material to us here to the test lab, or he can do it on his own in his site. So he has to collect the kind of material that he wants to separate from the others, and then he can take pictures of it, or we take pictures together with him of these samples and put these data then in our artificial intelligence system and create a new algorithm that is able to separate these target objects from the others. And then we copy it on the machine, and the machine on the customer side will be able to do this application or to perform there. Same is here with the lab. So the customer can ship the material to here. We discuss what the target is. And then, for example, it was already mentioned in the movie that we have the sorting task, for example, with these ketchup bottles. So there is a fraction in this facility called PET color. And the ketchup bottle obviously is a PET clear bottle, but inside the bottle there's ketchup. So if we have a near-infrared system, the system will say, okay, it's PET, and you have a color system that says, okay, that is red. And red in combination with PET means it's colored PET, so the machine will separate it into the PET color. But in this case, it's a clear bottle, so the customer wants to have it in the high-value clear fraction. So you cannot solve it with a standard combination of near-infrared and color separation. If you do so, you will all red bottles which are not clear will end up in the colored fraction. So you need artificial intelligence, and that is a new thing. So this artificial intelligence possibility, which we have from the Evo 5, will give us a complete new setup and much more possibilities. For sure, we have to train all the objects. And as the machines are all calibrated, all trained objects can be later on copied on a machine on the side, and they can adapt to this application.
Mm-hmm. Wow, thank you for the explanation. And I could see your eyes. You are so passionate about the KI. And I could also see some robots. How can they support the customers?
Yes. So the robots, the RTT Steinert or Steinert Unisaw today, was separated in 2009 from RTT Roboter Technology in Zittau. So these two companies have a very good work together. They team up and they have the same origin. And that's the reason that we still have this connection. And so it was a question of time that the powerful detection which we have at Steinert would be in the future combined with a robot, because they have the expertise with robots, we have the expertise with the detection. So that was just logical consequence, let it say it this way. And the market was demanding for this. So we put this together, and that is now the situation we have. We have the robot. We, as Steinert, believe the robot is an interesting tool to have a final quality control. And we use it at the end of already pre-sorted material streams.
Mm-hmm. Can the robot help with quality control, or is it also during the process control and during analysis?
Yeah, that is the good point. So because the detection itself is the same, so that means that all these data we gather from the materials have the same accuracy. So that means that we can overlap them, and that makes it then possible to see the small differences and give the operator a good hint about the situation the complete plan is at the moment, and especially this waste stream where the robot is located can be controlled via this tool very easily.
Mm-hmm. And how do you support these plants?
So the big plants, they normally operate 24/7, and there is a huge investment on the customer side behind, so they need to operate. So if they stop, the trucks still come, and that causes issues. So that was, as I said from the beginning, the target for the Evo 5. We need a machine which is capable with it. We need to lift up the uptimes from the machine, so the availability has to go up. And all this together was ended up in the Evo 5 machine. And with the Evo 5, we also developed a lot of tools to going online on the machine and doing support on a machine from the service center in Zittau. So a lot of things we do not need now on site. We can do it online, sorry, not on site, but online. And also in the COVID situation we had, this technology helps us to put machines into operation in countries where we were not able to come in or fly over. And that was a tool that we can make it because we have these online options, and that we can take machines into operation and we keep them alive with the online tool.
Yeah. Sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for so far, Hendrik. So now it's your turn again. You can ask your questions. You can write down your questions. I will receive them here on the tablet. We know it's a lot of information, and that's why we have like a short break and a little music in the break. So write down your questions in the break. We can have a short recap and a little breathing break. And I want to hand over to Mr. Loop to Eindhoven. Rudy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. How do you like the live stream?
It's so interesting to see what if you go to like the waste deposit and you sort out the most of your materials and then you see what really happens with it, how good everything is sorted. You don't think of it every day.
Yes.
But it's really interesting to see how this works and how artificial intelligence and everything, newest technologies also apply to this thing. So it's very interesting, and I'm happy to be here with you this morning.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you. And right now we want to listen to the next song.
Let's do it. Tommy used to walk on the dock. Junior been on staff, get down on his lucky stuff. So tough. Gina works on diner all day, working for a man. She brings home her praise for love. For love. She says we gotta hold on to what we've got. It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. We'll give it a shot. Oh, we're halfway there. Whoa, living on the prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Whoa, living on the prayer.
We will listen to Rudy, to Mr. Loop at the end of our show. And right now we have your Q&A session. And you are very ambitious. I have a lot of questions. Thank you so much. And still, you can continue to write down your questions. The first question to Hendrik is, how effective is Steinert sorting different kind of grades of plastic like PP, PE, and PET?
And that is a question. I understand that you are interested in having numbers, but that is not realistic. We need to know the in-feed composition. We need to know how the percentages of these materials is, the grain size. That is nothing I can answer right here. So there we have to see exactly what material you have.
Okay. How do you determine the recovery and purity rate of a sorting step?
There are two different possibilities. The first possibility is you do sampling and count it. The second possibility is you use a sorter and you run these materials in loop. So you can say after the first step you eject something. So that means you have to get a pure fraction, and then you run this in a second go, and then you do the scanning. And with the scanning you see the percentage of the in-feed from the second go, and that means that you can see the recovery rate or the purity which you reached directly with the machine.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next question, short question. Can I test the robot?
Yeah, you can test the robot. That you can do not here in Pulheim, but in Zittau we have a lab where we can do trials with the robot too.
Mm-hmm. Can you adjust to new package designs?
Yeah, for sure. So if it comes to artificial intelligence, I also mentioned that this artificial intelligence is a is a combination. The algorithm is a combination from shape, color, and also the near-infrared signal or different signals which we have in the machine. So if things are changing, we have to readjust it. And then that means we train these new objects if necessary. We train this to the database, and then we copy the new database on all the machines which run in this application. And then the machines adapt to it and can come over these new materials.
I guess it's also a bit regarding the new materials which look like paper, but they aren't paper. I guess maybe it's in this direction a bit.
Yeah, that's something that we can do with near-infrared.
Yeah.
You see the differences in these materials, but it depends really. If you look on the example from the ketchup bottle is very good for this, because there you have something like the color which is typical, so you can use it. So it's not as much as a shape. Sometimes you have a very prominent badge on these objects that also can help you. So, but that is what you have to do.
Okay. Next question from Danielle. Can you tell us more about the sorting of multi-layer materials?
Multi-layer materials, for sure. So most popular is the tray. So that means you have PET, you have some barrier inside it, and again PET, different layers. So it depends very much on the composition and on the thickness of each layer. For example, if the first layer is not as thick, we can look through it and we see the first barrier area. And that means that gives also near-infrared signal, and the combination of the barrier and the PET gives us indication it's a multi-layer object. If the first material thickness is too high, we cannot penetrate the object as far as necessary, then we have with near-infrared no chance. Then we have to switch to the artificial intelligence and train these objects.
Mm-hmm. Next question. Can you separate further different type of black waste?
Black waste is something we start in 2014. Even in the movie you have seen very nice black bales in the storage area. So some of our customers are doing it. They have machines that separate black materials from lightweight packaging. From the installations we have here in Germany, we know that roughly 2.2 till 3% of the in-feed in these lightweight packaging sorting facilities is black material. So if you do not have such a technology, this material will end up in the residue. So if you have a black Unisort black in your facility, this machine can eject the dark materials. In addition, we know that in packaging, most of these dark materials are PE/PP. So if now this machine ejects black in combination with the losses from the other machines which are PE or PP, we even have a higher product stream which this machine generates, which can be prevented from the residue. So there are some things that come over each other. I think also in regards of having higher recycling rates, the Unisort Black can be an opportunity because it lifts up your recycling rate directly with 2 to 3%.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next question. Can you analyze chlorine content, PVC, and calorific? Oh, I cannot.
Value?
Yeah, calorific value with your machine. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. We can. PVC is something you detect with a standard near-infrared. That is nothing which is very high sophisticated. Caloric value is something different. So for caloric value, we have in the machines the machine is scanning the material. So we know we have PE, we have paper, we have PET, whatever. And also we can calculate the moisture content. We see this also with the near-infrared system. So all these information the machine is gathering, they can be then combined with some values in behind, so we can have a theory about the caloric value with a scanner. That normally is not done with the standard sorting machines. That is done with a machine called Analyzer. That is more or less similar, but it has no valve bar. That's just only to do the quality control similar to the robot, without changing the material, just scanning what is the material stream like.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we have one question. Is the yellow box above the conveyor the detection unit?
That is correct. So we call it bridge. That is a detection unit. And I think something special for Steinert is that this bridge is the only thing. So we have always this bridge. It has the same shape. It has the same configuration. Inside the bridge are different setups possible. You can have near-infrared, you can have color camera in combination, or artificial intelligence, but you will not see it from the outside. It's always one thing that is installed on the customer side.
Wow, thank you so much. You did it step by step. Each and every question you answered so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your questions. Honestly, I have to say again, there were even more questions, especially also about percentages. The Steinert marketing will contact you afterwards, and then you will get all your answers. And unfortunately, we are almost at the end of the live stream, so I'd like to invite Andreas here to us. So we are the trio from the beginning. Thank you so much for all your insights, for all your information. Maybe you can give us a last insight. What can we expect in the future? And maybe you have things which lay ahead, where you want to talk about. And I'd like to start with Hendrik.
For sure, we'll go on with developing artificial intelligence and self-learning systems, because there we are really at a starting point and there's a bunch of opportunities, and for sure we'll step into this. If we have a better detection, we also will have better recovery and better purity, so that is for sure the right thing to do. On the other hand, we are looking forward to follow up with more of these live streams and live events, because that gives us a great opportunity to come closer to our customers and keep the contact, and we can share them every new development which we have in the group.
Yeah, thank you. And do you have any insights?
Yeah, I mean, as we have seen in the beginning, there are viewers from all around the world. And we see a growing demand in recycling. And of course, sorting has a big impact there. And our intention, of course, is to put more resources in this market where we see a higher demand. And we want to have more visitors here in our test center and to do trials and tests with them from markets all around the world.
Thank you, Andreas. Of course, we want to have more trials here in the test center. So now it's up to you. You can come here, or you can send your material. You can make an appointment. Or if you need more information, or if you have any questions, then please contact the marketing@steinert.de. There you can write your questions, or you can make an appointment. Maybe you have already a personal contact person, and on the website, of course, you will also find the contact finder, so you can contact Steinert, and then you have the experts here on your side, and you can make a trial. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your questions. You can also follow Steinert on LinkedIn to get the latest news. And if you like it, you can also give a thumb up. And right now, I wish you a very nice day. Thanks for watching. See you again. Stay healthy. And one last time, we will listen to the last song of Mr. Loop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish that I could fly into the sky so very high, just like a dragonfly. I fly above the trees, over the seas, under the breeze, so anywhere I please. Oh, I want to get away. I want to fly. Spirit fly, we'll be our one.